Hi, my name is Michel Rojkind. I'm an architect based in Mexico City with a small office of 25 people at the moment. One partner, Gerardo Salinas, and focusing on contemporary architecture and understanding how to translate the common problems and being aware of how society is changing, transforming that into diagnostics of design to proposed projects. Architecture is the ability to understand how to interact with society in today's world, how to understand to confine space, to contain space, to open space, to the play of all the elements that come together to be able to respond in a good way. Architecture can be in various scales. It can be from the minimum scale. You can do architecture as public spaces, architecture as infrastructure, architecture as cities, urban plans. But I think it's a way of playing with certain conditions that transform them into these contained spaces that solve functions and problems of today's societies. Well, I think the role of architects today is being able to be first, to be aware of what elements come into play. And architects not only have to respond to their buildings anymore. I think that it's the responsibility of an architect to be able to provide something to give back to communities or give back to society. How we can build things that really have roots and really provide future scenarios. So we cannot think about isolated architecture anymore, or architecture that just responds to a functional problem or to a company's needs or a client's needs. It has to have that added value to not only talking about environmental issues, but talking about social issues, political, economical, and the more a project can give back to communities or societies, I think the better. It doesn't matter the scale, the budget, just being able to give that added value back. The importance of innovation is to keep on questioning things. I think the innovation doesn't come just because we want to be innovative. No, innovation comes because, as I always explain, even now that I have my 7-year-old daughter, that kids, they go through this stage of asking why all the time. No, Daddy, why this and why that? And at my 42 years of age, I still keep asking a lot of these questions. No, why hasn't this changed? Why can't this be different? So I think innovation comes out of asking why hasn't society moved in different directions or hasn't changed the way we interact in certain things. That's the way we can really be aware of things that are happening. What are the tendencies? Where are things shifting? So how we can really take advantage of those opportunities and the things that are happening in today's world. And especially in countries like ours in Mexico City, where when people in the world talk about crisis, we've always been in crisis. So here you really have to be imaginative, you have to be innovative, you have to really understand how to work with the common problems of every day. And it's the best place to really be innovative. And innovation is not only about a material. Innovation can be about even trying to change the regulations and laws of things that are happening in cities. That can be a part where it's also very interesting and really thrilling, and we get adrenaline rush of working with certain conditions that we can change from the basic components of a project to then design something that's very innovative. So I think innovation is not only the result of a building that has technology and the most advanced materials. I think innovation comes from an innovative way of thinking, an innovative way of breaking the traditional molds of certain things that don't function in today's society anymore. The importance of networking in the case of our office is everything. No, if we didn't network, I don't think we would ever be doing what we're doing. No, I don't know if this comes from my musical background, that I was a drummer in a band where when you're a musician, the collaborative spirit of working with a lot of people, trying to find a big producer, trying to find a record studio, this type of networking of how you can get to know more people, to learn about what's happening in different parts of the world and be better at what you're doing. And this is no different in architecture now. There's a group of colleagues that we're very good friends, and I can tell you, friends, really, not just friends that, I mean, we talk about the common problems that you might think that they're your problems in Mexico, but somebody has the same problem in Japan, or somebody has the same problem in Korea. And so this dialogue of networking in a sense of learning faster, things that would normally have taken you longer, and also with the spirit of collaborating, with the spirit of reaching places that you would never imagine before. No, I believe in the 6 degrees of separation that we all know about. That, I mean, what do you want to do? No, the first time I started working with Arab, I just sent an email, which I didn't think I was going to get a response, and I got a response, and we started working with Cecile in some projects, and then with all the people that now we're collaborating, it's been about that. It's been about just sending an email, and I believe that one thing is networking, but the other thing is matching. No, you can network a lot, but there's certain vibes and certain energies that then when you're networking, you feel really comfortable, not only professionally working with people that are great at what they do, but also about you find other people that have the same passions or desires, or that are intrigued by same conditions, which is fascinating. We're plugged in 24 hours a day. Either we're working or not, we're downloading files, uploading files. Internet in the office has become incredibly useful, where you're talking to the client, you have conference calls, you put together or meetings for certain projects that are taking place. You have webcams on construction sites where you're feeding every day, seeing what's happening also. I can be in Los Angeles with my students at SciArc, lecturing or teaching something, and I could take 5 minutes or 10 minutes off to have a Skype conversation with a client or with somebody here at the office. Even as a resource, from the office, know that you can actually, you're investigating or doing research on something, and you're downloading a lot of information just to have in mind what has happened around that specific problem, and what has been done, what has been talked about. So you have all this background, and you have this diagnostic that you can actually then come up with the best solution. No? So internet has become, it's been very important. We're, as I said, connected 24 hours a day. What I would recommend to, not only to somebody that's studying architecture, what I would recommend to anybody today is that to be aware, to be really conscious of all the conditions that surround you, because I understand that I can be a better architect because I'm more aware of what's happening around me. If I only focus on the architecture and I'm monothematic and I'm there all the time, I don't know if I would be able to react as we're reacting with the projects that we're doing, because I would not know what's happening in all the conditions that really come into play for architecture. And it depends where you are, no? In cities like Mexico City, if you're not aware of what's happening and what's going to happen with the elections, what's the correct economical condition right now, what is the social implications of everything that's being done in the city, there is no workplace. There is no way to really interact or work or wait for clients to come and knock. So the more you're aware and the more knowledge you have of the things that will come into play with you, understanding this idea of the exchange or added value, how we can do things that really give something back and something in return for the things that we're doing. So you have a client that is a private client that's working on something that is a private investment. He's going to earn a lot of money. What is the trade-off for the society around it? Is there a trade-off that he can give something back? So I would recommend that architects really be conscious and aware while they're studying, no? What is happening with education? Is it the right education? Are we going to still be educated in the same ideas we've done in the past with the same typical schools and classrooms? Are we going to be self-taught? Is the future of education, are we going to study architecture? or are we going to study certain specific themes or elements that will become part of your education, but you're not going to be called an architect because you're going to have all these other things that make who you are to be able to interact. I don't think anybody ever prepares you to have an office. Nobody teaches you how to have an office. So it's, I mean, you do it on a day-by-day basis. No? Now we're getting consultants to come and consult for the office because we want to grow in the best way possible. But I was saying that there are awards for architecture, but there should be awards for how many years you have had your office. No? Like one more year, yeah, you get an award. Because it's really complicated because at least for, in certain countries like ours, the condition of having a client, you have a client, but you don't know if the project is going to come through all the way. So the income of those projects that you plan or try to plan to have a strategic idea for the whole year in your office, or maybe a little bit more than a year, it never happens. So you're always adapting, you're always understanding the surroundings. You have to be very flexible. I think that today's, we are a generation that needs to understand this chaos and this instability and really learn that you need to adapt to all the conditions. I don't think, I would never want to have a huge office. I don't know if I would know how to have a huge office, no? Like some friends that have 140, 160 people office. I like the scale of 25 to maybe 40 or 50, so you can maintain flexible, dynamic, and understand what you're producing, the work that you're doing. It's been complicated in a business point of view because all the economical conditions and ideas that even if you have a contract with a client, it doesn't mean that the project is going to pull through. So that's some of the main implications, that we have some projects that we're really excited about. We hire people for that specific project, and then the project goes on hold.